welcome to another Garage Time with Goody. And today, what we're going to be working on is a 2006 Dodge Dakota 4.7 liter V8 engine, four-wheel drive. And what we're going to be doing is changing out the valve body in the transmission and the shift solenoid. If you're going down the road and have a slow takeoff and your truck is stuck, it could be stuck in second gear, which is also known as limp mode. What you want to do is use an OBD2 scanner and scan the engine codes, and that will tell you what your problem is. Once you plug in your scanner, the interface is going to come on, and yours may look a little different based on mine, but you'll want to put your key into the ignition. And don't turn it over to start it, but just turn it over once. In my case, I'm going to make sure it's on OBD2. And then I'm going to click OK. It detects two problems. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to read the codes. Shift solenoid E. And that's a P0770. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to jack up the truck just a little bit so that I'm going to have more clearance underneath the truck to work with it. Now the next thing you want to do is to put jack stands underneath the body of the truck, because it's for safety in case the jack fails, because it could save your life. And what is more important than your life? One of the things you want to do when you're changing out the solenoid is to disconnect your battery, because the solenoid is an electrical component. So I'm taking off the negative wire. I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to take off the positive. And then we're going to set that to the side. The next thing you want to do, if you have anything to keep your back from getting all scratched up, see, I have a mat that I've put down that I'm going to be laying on, or if you have a creeper. But anyways, the location of the transmission is directly, a marker you can use is directly behind this tire. Put the mat down, and it's underneath by the back of the tire. Underneath here, underneath the truck, this is going to be your transfer case. And this is going to be the cross member that holds up the transmission. You're going to need to take this cross member off. These bolts here, if they're rusted, you're going to want to go ahead and put some lubricant, some rust penetrator on them, and take them off. And underneath the cross member, there's going to be quite a few bolts. So these rear bolts back here on the transmission pan that you see you can't really get to without taking this cross member off. There is the transmission pan that we're going to be taking off, and it has 8mm bolts all the way around it. This original pan doesn't have a drain bolt, so we're just going to have to take it off and let the fluid drain into a pan. Okay, so we're going to spray these bolts down with some rust penetrator. These are the ones underneath that I showed you. We're going to give that 20 minutes to saturate into the bolts and penetrate that rust. All right, guys, what I'm doing now is I've seen a lot of diagrams, and they said that once this cross member comes off, that it is held up by the engine But to make sure, I'm putting a jack stand. I put a jack stand underneath the transfer case so I can take this cross member off. It'll hold it in place. So what you got to do is you have to break these bolts loose first. A lot of people won't tell you one of the hard parts is getting this cross member off of here, especially if it's rusted really bad, which a lot of times they are. I'm going to be taking off these two bolts up here. It's on there tight. So what I'm going to use is a breaker bar, guys. It's starting to break the bolt loose a little bit. So this could take you a while, and you just have to have patience. You can also use a cheater pipe. Just anything that'll give you leverage. And this is giving me some leverage here. I'm gonna slowly but surely like I said, you're gonna have to have persistence. Once you get that off, you get access to the transmission pan, it's a heck of a lot easier. Got the first bolt out and it took 15 minutes. So you're gonna have to be patient. And you might have to get tools where you use leverage. You'll want to lubricate those while you get this cross member off. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of these big bolts up here that you have to get. We have the 2 big bolts on each side. That's a total of 4. Now we're going to get these 3 that are 15 millimeter up underneath here. That's 1. It looks like there's 4 of them. 2. There's number 3. There's number 4. That's off. We're gonna need a pry bar to pry this cross member down. You can see these lips on each side. That's what you want to take your pry bar and put it on the lips on each side and pry down, and that'll loosen it up for you. Almost there, guys. You just have to beat and bang a little bit around each corner, and eventually this is going to come down. It looks like it's about ready to come off on this side. Okay, so it's off on this side, and I'm going to come over on the other side. This is going to come off a lot easier since the other side's off. Kind of like that. The cross member is completely off, guys. I'm gonna bring it out and set it over to the side. Okay, there were about 15 8mm bolts around this transmission pan. There is no drain bolt, so where I have this jacked up, I'm gonna take the front bolts off first, and then when I get ready to take the back off and the fluid's going to come out, I'm going to put the drain pan under here. There's 1. Since we're starting to get a leak, I'm going to put this drain pan under here. what I've done is I've left 2 bolts in the transmission pan, and I've got this up on a jack, and I'm going to let it drain into this drain pan. And once it gets to a lot lower level and all this is drained into the drain pan, then I'm going to take the transmission pan off. Once the fluid is drained, you kind of tilt the pan toward the drain pan, make sure all the fluid that you can get out is out, and then you take the drain pan off. You set it to the side, and then you just let the rest of it drain. Now right here, this is the valve body right here. This is the filter. This is the other tranny filter. And these are the 8mm bolts. There's 6 of them that you want to take off. But anyways, you want to go ahead and let it drain the rest of the way.